When someone in our family gets sick, our hearts ache. The house seems quieter, time passes more slowly, and every thought is mixed with a different worry. Often, we try to be strong, but inside we feel fear, exhaustion, and that nagging question, will everything be all right? Today, I want to speak directly to your heart. You who are carrying this pain, this uncertainty, this exhausting weight. God knows every detail of your family member's situation. He sees what no one else sees, He hears what no one else hears, and He understands what you cannot put into words. Take a deep breath now. Bring to mind the name of that person you love. Think of their face, the affection you feel for them, the desire you have to see them healed, smiling, living with health and joy. This desire is not just yours. God also desires life, restoration, and peace. Even before you ask, He is already working. Even when we don't see it, He acts behind the scenes. And it is here, at this moment, that we begin our prayer. A prayer of surrender, faith, and trust. A prayer that opens the way for a miracle. May every word you hear touch the depths of your soul and strengthen you to stand firm until the end. If this beginning spoke to you, comment below. I am praying for my family.
Before we begin to pray deeply, I want you to imagine something. God entering the very place where your family member is right now. It could be a hospital room, a bed at home, a simple room, or even a place only you know. Imagine God's presence filling the air, bringing light where there is worry, bringing calm where there is pain, bringing hope where there is fear. Often, when someone we love gets sick, we feel like we are fighting alone. But the truth is, you have never been alone. God accompanies every tear you have shed in secret. He knows the weight you try to carry in silence. He sees your struggle to be strong for everyone, even when your heart is weary. Now, let that presence touch you too. Feel God placing His hand on your shoulders, strengthening you, renewing your strength. Because for someone to rise, another needs to remain steadfast in prayer. And you are doing that now. You are standing in the gap for someone you love, and that has power. Heaven hears a prayer made with love. Heaven responds when a heart surrenders sincerely. Now, visualize, I am not alone. God is here. Allow this truth to penetrate your soul. From this moment on, every word you hear will be a seed of faith planted in the soil of your hope. If this prayer touched your heart, comment, God is with me in this battle.
Right now, let's begin to direct our faith specifically toward the life of your family member. Think about them again. Imagine their name being brought before God as an urgent, sincere, and loving request. It doesn't matter what the diagnosis is, whether it's something simple or something that has been keeping you awake at night. For God, nothing is too big, nothing is too late, nothing is impossible. When Jesus walked this earth, He never ignored anyone who was suffering. On the contrary, He approached, touched, embraced, and restored, and that is exactly what He does today. Now, place your hand on your heart. This helps to focus your faith. Feel the beats. Each one is proof that you still have the strength to continue. And know this, while you pray, God is reaching out to that person you love. Even if they are far away, even if you cannot be by their side at this moment, God can. The world has limitations, but the Spirit of God does not. Say in your thoughts, Lord, touch the life of my family member, now. Just that. These words, spoken sincerely, have power. Faith doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be great, it just needs to be true. And from this moment on, we enter even deeper into prayer for healing, restoration, and the peace you so desperately need. God is listening, God is acting, and He never fails. If this prayer spoke to you, comment below, Lord, touch my family. Now, I want you to imagine a soft light descending from the sky and touching exactly the place on your family member's body where they need healing. It could be something physical, emotional, or even spiritual. This light represents God's care, His intervention, happening silently yet powerfully. Many healings begin like this, invisible to the eyes, but deep in the spirit. Sometimes the situation seems to worsen before it gets better, not because God isn't acting, but because He is reorganizing everything from within, preparing the ground for complete restoration. While this light touches your family member, allow it to touch you as well. How many sleepless nights have you had? How many times have you held back tears so no one would notice? God knows your weariness, and He also wants to strengthen you. True healing doesn't just happen in the body. It happens in the soul of those who love, those who fight, those who intercede. Now, in silence, repeat in your heart, "Lord, I trust in your care." When you declare this, even amidst fear, you open spiritual doors for God to work even more deeply. And know this, no prayer made with love returns empty. Every word you release here is moving something in the spiritual world. Stay strong. The miracle may be happening at this very moment, even if you don't see it yet. If this prayer spoke to you, comment, "I trust in God's care." Now, let's deepen the prayer by bringing peace to the heart of the sick person. Often, the mind of the ill person is filled with worries, fear of treatment, insecurity about the future, doubts about recovery. But today, by faith, let's ask that all anxiety be replaced by a peace that does not depend on circumstances. Imagine God placing His hand on the head of your family member, calming thoughts, silencing fears, and bringing rest to the soul. God's presence is like a balm that softens everything around. And while He takes care of that person, He also takes care of you. Many family members become emotionally exhausted, trying to be strong all the time, and rarely stop to breathe. Now is that moment. Take a deep breath. Let God's presence enter where there is tension, anxiety, or anguish. He doesn't want you to face this journey burdened. He wants to share the weight with you. Say silently, "Lord, bring peace to our home." When this phrase is said sincerely, something changes in the spiritual atmosphere. God visits homes, restores emotions, and renews spirits. God's peace is not fragile, it is not temporary, it sustains, strengthens, and prepares the way for healing. Keep believing. The prayer you pray now can be the beginning of a testimony you will share later. If this prayer spoke to you, comment, "Lord, bring peace to my family." Right now, I want to guide you in a prayer of protection. When someone is sick, we pray not only for healing, but also for God to place a shield around that person. Now imagine a circle of light surrounding your family member, a light that represents divine care, warding off complications, blocking negative news, preventing fear from taking hold. This light is the symbolic manifestation of God's protection, which guards, watches over, and accompanies every detail. As you visualize this, remember that God is never out of control. He sees what doctors don't see, He reaches places that no treatment can reach, and He can, indeed, change scenarios that seem impossible. But in addition to physical protection, there is also an emotional and spiritual protection that is fundamental. May God strengthen your family member's mind. May He give them courage to face each stage. May He renew their hope every day. And not just for them, but for you too. May God protect your heart from discouragement. May He protect your mind from excessive worry. May He protect your faith from any doubt that tries to take hold. You are interceding, and interceding is a powerful act. Now in silence, declare, "Lord, cover my family with your protection." These words are seeds of faith that God welcomes. If this prayer spoke to you, comment, "God is protecting my family." Now let's focus on something very important: strength to continue. Sometimes illness feels like an emotional marathon. In the beginning, everyone stays strong, hopeful. But as the days go by, fatigue sets in. The routine changes, worries increase, the future seems uncertain. It is at this moment that God enters not only as the one who heals, but as the one who sustains. I want you to imagine God placing a hand on your chest now, strengthening your breathing, calming your mind, and renewing your spirit. He is saying to your heart, "I am with you. I give you strength." It is not the strength that comes from trying to be strong alone. It is the strength that comes from above, the one that lifts you up when you think you are going to collapse. And also, think about your family member. Imagine God filling their body with energy, renewing every cell, every thought, every emotion. Even if outwardly they seem weak, God is working internally, strengthening every part that needs restoration. Take a deep breath and say silently, "Lord, renew our strength." When you declare this, something moves in the spiritual world, because God honors every sincere request that comes from the heart. Stand firm. The strength you need doesn't come from you. It comes from Him. If this prayer spoke to you, comment, "God is strengthening me." Now, let's direct our faith towards something essential: hope. Hope is like a flame that keeps the soul warm, even on the most difficult days. When a family member falls ill, this flame can grow weak, not because you no longer believe, but because the emotional strain is great. Today, let's ask God to rekindle that flame within you and within your family member. Imagine a small light appearing within your chest. It starts weak, but it grows, illuminating your thoughts, bringing encouragement, reminding you that God is still working, even when everything seems at a standstill. This light is the hope that God renews in your heart. Now, think of your family member receiving this same light. It enters like a breath of life, bringing courage for each day, reminding them that healing is possible, that better days can indeed come. Hope is not an empty, positive thought. It is a powerful spiritual force capable of transforming atmospheres, renewing emotions, and opening paths where before there seemed to be no way out. Say silently, "Lord, renew our hope." Let this phrase echo in your heart for a few seconds. God is listening. He is answering, and He is rekindling something within you that should never have been extinguished. If this prayer spoke to you, comment, "My hope is being renewed." Now we enter a profound moment in our prayer, total surrender into God's hands. Often, the greatest burden is not the illness itself, but what it awakens within us. The fear of the unknown, the feeling of powerlessness, the constant worry about tomorrow. But today, God is calling you to rest in Him, to place this entire situation under His care without reservation. Imagine that you are holding a weight in your hands, the name of your family member, the diagnosis, the worry, the fear. Now visualize yourself extending those hands and surrendering all of this to God. When you surrender, you don't lose control, you gain peace. Because what you cannot solve, God can transform. As you make this surrender, imagine God receiving every detail. He welcomes your pain, understands your tears, feels your love. Nothing goes unnoticed by Him. And when you place this situation on God's altar, you open space for Him to act supernaturally, bringing paths you never imagined. Take a deep breath and silently declare, "Lord, I surrender everything into your hands. Allow this phrase to bring lightness to your heart. God is taking on what has been weighing you down. Stay strong. The miracle often begins at the moment of surrender. If this prayer spoke to you, comment, "I surrender into God's hands."
We have reached the final moment of this prayer, and now we will declare healing, restoration, and victory over the life of your family member. The final word does not come from fear. It does not come from the diagnosis. It does not come from doubt. The final word comes from God, and He is a God of healing, a God of open doors, a God of transformation. I want you to imagine at this moment your family member's health being renewed like a river of clear water, flowing and carrying away everything that does not belong to their body. All pain, all inflammation, all illness, all weakness. Visualize this river entering and bringing new life, new strength, new breath, new spirit. God is touching areas that no human hand can reach. He is reorganizing what was out of balance, restoring what was weakened, and strengthening what needed to be lifted up. Now imagine your family members smiling again, walking, living with health, joy, and energy. This is not an illusion, it is faith. And faith prepares the heart to receive the miracle. You are not here by chance. This prayer is part of God's intervention in your story. Take a deep breath and declare within yourself, "Lord, I believe in your miracle." Keep this faith in your heart and remain steadfast until you see complete victory. If this prayer spoke to you, comment, "I believe in God's miracle." And don't forget, subscribe to the channel to receive more prayers like this.